Oh boy, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. We got the patch notes in, and let me say that seems like they're bending the knee to the PvP royalty throughout these patch notes, and I'll explain exactly why. But let's jump in here. So first and foremost, the time that this is happening. So 9 p.m. Pacific time. For me, I live in New York, so it'll be midnight for me. You know, wherever you live, just plug it in, bada bing, bada boom, and you'll figure that out easy peasy. Alrighty, let's start with Monica Rambo. So she is a blast superhero, and you can get her for free. So she is a paywall character, but you can get her for free from the faction battle, which is absolutely amazing. Good on you, Netmarble. Alright, so she definitely does scream PvP, but she could also be PvE, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of characters, right, that kind of fit the PvP on paper, but, you know, they turn out to be something different. But let me explain why. So she has a really good leadership, as a matter of fact. 36% increased energy attack plus ignore dodge. I mean, we all know ignore dodge is becoming more and more valuable now. So I mean that could even be like a dispatch leadership. That could be very, very good for dispatch. Okay, so she has increased all attack, all defense. So this is her tier 1 passive. All attack, all defense, 20%. And then she has a 100% chance to dodge physical attacks for 5 out of 7 seconds. That's pretty insane, guys. That is pretty insane. I mean, in terms of, you know, just, I don't know, AC stuff, you know, there's not a whole lot of timeline physical attacking characters that you come across, but we're gonna have to see how that plays out. But I mean, obviously that screams PvP. You know, if you're fighting Null, right? I would imagine this applies to Null as well. He does physical damage, so you know, you can kind of just face tank Null with her. You know, assuming that she's actually a good PvE type character. But in any case, let's move on. So she has decreased energy damage received by 60%, increase skill damage bonus damage, 25 and 35, 100% chance to increase critical damage by 50% on critical attack. So very similar to Namor's passive, right? I believe it's either his passive or his uniform effect. I will check right now. Alrighty, so here it is right here. So it's a little bit different. Namor's is 30% chance to increase critical damage by 100% on critical attacks, and hers is, what is it here? It is 100% chance to increase critical damage by 50% on critical attacks. So it's even better than Namor's. And you remember how powerful Namor was when he first came to the game, right? So we're gonna hope that she is. I mean, we want powerful characters, right? It just then creates this issue where, how many characters do I gotta build up now because they're all so good, right? Which ones do you actually pick and choose? Who do you dismantle from your roster who had a build before? You know, if you even have the crystals to pull stuff off. So they like to create these problems, these scenarios, right? So you spend more money because you need the crystals. In any case, so skill 1 has a 70% chance of missing an attack for 3 seconds. Skill 2 has another 70% chance of missing an attack for 3 seconds. So you see the PvP trend here. She has a guaranteed crit rate increase by 30%, 100% chance for immunity. So she has immunity for 3 seconds. And then on her third skill, she has 20% HP recovery, 4 seconds of invincibility. She has accumulation. On her fourth skill, she has incapacitation, some all defense down, and she has some lightning damage as well, which is interesting. I wouldn't plan on giving her like a judgment though, because I believe that is the only skill. She does have shock damage, but that doesn't constitute as elemental damage. So in any case, on her last but not least, she has another 70% chance of missing an attack. So it's like you basically have, it seems like you would be, so for 3, 3, and 3, so 9 seconds. I know it doesn't always work where you're hitting one, you know, every 3 seconds, but actually on her first skill, at the very least, you can, I mean, you basically have 70% chance of your opponent missing an attack almost at like all times. It would appear. We'll have to see exactly how she plays, but I'm really curious and excited about actually figuring out just how effective she is. This could be insane, but we don't know. Like Null on paper, you remember, for PvP, we thought he was just gonna destroy everything, and it turns out he's good, but it's just not exactly what we expected. And then moving on here, she has 50% penetration, plus she has an all attack, all defense. Oh, damn notification. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let's continue here. So, yeah, all attack, all defense, crit rate by 20%, incapacitation, or she removes incapacitation, and that's pretty much about it. Okay, now, so that's the one new character. Now we have 5 uniforms. All right, let's start with Blue Marvel here. All right, here we go, Mr. Blue Marvel. So first off, I have to say that he looks pretty insane on paper for PvP. Absolutely insane. He actually has a brand new skill effect called Mockery, which is, you know what? We expected this, right? We expected this to see something like this that basically ignores debuff, like your debuff lead, because, you know, first we had, right, with Spider-Man just webbing everybody. You know, you had to put something in place to avoid that, to debuff. Now you need something to kind of override that, to cancel that out. It's just kind of the nature of how things go, right? It's like, what's the next step? Where does the road take us? That sort of thing. Okay. So Blue Marvel. So first off, all the uniforms are going to be 40% off, not 50%. So his uniform effect he has, and this applies to all allies, guys. Increase all resistance by 30%. Increase damage dealt to targets with Mockery effect by 30%. Increase damage dealt to targets with remove all debuff effect by 30%. And we're gonna kind of break that down here a little bit. So his first skill, he just got a stun. Second skill, has a stun. Nothing too special. So his third skill, this is where the Mockery comes in. So it says applies to enemies. So he's got a stun and a silence on it. I'm not sure if that's kind of part of the whole Mockery deal. It looks like it is, but it just might be like if we see another character with this Mockery still, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to have the stun and silence in it. I'm not exactly sure about that, but basically the meat and potatoes of this is that it forces opponents to focus attacks on the caster. Cannot be removed with the remove all debuff effect, and increases all attack by 10%, but there is a 100% chance to not receive the barrier, shield, all damage immune, or invincibility effect. So during this time, and this is for 15 seconds, so it's basically up all the time. I mean, it says he has a 13-second cooldown. Sorry about that, I had another interruption there. But in any case, this is basically saying that the enemy can't put anything up, any buffs that protect themselves, right? I mean, it says it right there. We'll have to see exactly how this plays out. And then also included with this, so it kind of groups all this stuff under their Mockery effect. I'm not sure if that's actually intended, or if, you know, it actually means something else. You know, once we get the character in the game, you know, things will become a little clearer. But down here, then it says applies to self. So I'm guessing that down here, this is not a part of it. But in any case, we have all attack, all defense, 15%, all speed, crit rate by 10, removes incapacitation, 5% recovery to max HP, which is actually 25%, and he has 100%. So he has 100% chance for immunity for 3 seconds. So, man, that looks like a huge PvP game changer. And it says right here, it applies to, no, that doesn't apply. Increased damage dealt to targets with the Mockery effect by 30%. So it increases damage by 30% to all your allies. So yeah, we'll have to check this out. This is a new thing. We like the fresh and new. Okay, skill number 4, invincibility for 3 seconds, and he has a proc, right? Just like on like Iron Man's 5th skill, I believe, 5th or 3rd. And various other skills. Now, it seems like we're seeing this way and way more, which is awesome. I like it. Increased damage by 100% for 1 attack. Okay, last but not least, we have 5th skill here. Incapacitation. Removes active buff from target for 10 seconds, plus he has an all attack, all defense, all speed buff. So 40, 40, 30, no, 40, 35, and then 14. They like just playing with these numbers, man. I'm telling you, it's always like just, I don't know. It's like they got a bunch of numbers in a hat, and then you just kind of pick it out. Now we come to the evil version of Captain Marvel. So she has crazy damage reduction. Another, right, PvP kind of staple, but it's interesting because she also has the leadership tag. I think she's the first villain. She's the first character that is a villain on the villain side with the leadership tag. so she could still take advantage of White Fox's passive. But in terms of ABX, there's never really a day where they match up, other than the free for all day. I mean, they wouldn't even match up on most days anyways, because she's universal. So yeah, she's a universal villain. She's gonna have to outpace Supergiant for ABX. We'll have to see if that's actually something that is actually a possibility at this point, or if she's gonna be able to jump that hurdle. So in any case, on her uniform effect, so she has increased damage dealt to supervillains by 50, decreased damage received by supervillains by 50%, and then she has decreased all damage received by 40%. So when she's fighting a supervillain, she has 90% damage decrease. What? That's insane. And then just 40% to anybody else, to heroes, right? And then on her, so they left her tier 2 passive as what it is, which is excellent, because her tier 2 passive right now in the game is it's the same as like the rogue, passive, where increase all buff effect by 20% and duration by 30, which allows you to basically have your proc up all the time on like a rage proc, which is fantastic. So I'm glad they did that. All right, let's move on here. So she has all 3 ABX effects. I'll just say that first and foremost. So she has burn on her first skill, and then she has an 80% chance of missing an attack, right? Same as Spectrum deal. And then on her second, she's got a stun, paralysis, and increase all attack by 20% for 4 seconds. Her third here has a stun, fracture, incapacitation, and her fourth, so okay, same as what she has. So she has ignore targeting, and she has a stun. So most of her skill, well, only 3 of her skills got changed. 1, 2, and 5 are actually the ones that got changed. I believe they just added hits and I think just more damage on some of her existing skills. I'm pretty sure that's what they said, but she has, let's see, applies to enemies movement speed decreased by 26%. She has a stun, a fracture, incapacitation. And then on her fifth, she has some more burn, stun, incapacitation. And then an all attack, all defense by 40%, all speed by 1, and crit rate by 1%. Man, this 1% on the crit rate is just so lame. But here's the thing with her. She might be able to double down as a squad battle ABX character. And that would be pretty excellent, because for those who kind of play ABX at the top level, you wouldn't need a brilliant CTP of any sort, because as her rotation is now, she does not work with an energy, and she can't work with the judgment. So she would only be able to work with the rage, which is it's the cheapest route to take now, as a matter of fact. My man Black Panther looks like he got a serious makeover, man. They did him top to bottom. I really wish they would have just changed his tier 3 skill altogether. They did add a bunch of hits to it, and we'll get to that further down, because that's where they pointed out. Okay, so uniform effect. He has super armor all defense by 50%, and it just says he's got changes the skills here. All right, so his ultimate skill, it looks like, yeah, they made some changes to it. We'll have to, I'm not going to go through it and point out the exact changes now, but basically they added more hits and they just added more buffs to it. All right, so for his passive, he has crit damage increased by 15% and then 100% chance to increase crit damage by 10% on critical attack. So same thing as Namor, same thing as Spectrum, just to a lower extent. Namor's was 30 and Spectrum's was 50%. So we'll see what's going on there. All right, so applies itself. Increase guaranteed crit rate by 50%. This is tier 2 passive. Skill damage, bonus damage, 30 and 20, and then decreased damage received by 15%. So his first skill, he's got a stun, a silence. So he has 2 of the effects. So he has silence and paralyze. He does not have a burn, right? Unless he has burn on his tier 3. No, he has bleed on his tier 3. He does not have a burn. Okay, so his second skill, he's got stun, paralysis, and his third has accumulation. Thank God they gave this man accumulation. He also has a guard hit here for 8 hits. And on his fourth, he's got attack buff 40-40. No crit rate buff there. And he does have a crit rate buff on his fifth, though. So he gets another 30-30 with 30% crit rate. And then he has immunity for 5 seconds, which is very nice. I think he's going to be very good. I think they just knew they had to give this man justice, and they did, because they know if they don't, so many people are going to be just upset and PO'd. Let's hope that they don't have to come in with a patch and they just did it right the first time. Fingers crossed on that. Alrighty, here we go. America Chavez. Okay, so first off, on her uniform, so she has a lot of PvP stuff going on, as well as Quasar. Quasar does. Yes, I did it. I got it right. Okay, so she has 15% increase to HP, decrease all damage received from reflected attacks by 50%, and it's all reflected attacks. Now her lead is okay, it's just a 30% increase to all attack plus dodge rate by 6. Tier 1 passive, she has some crit rate plus 30% chance of ignoring target dodge rate, which is always welcome. And then our Tier 2, she has super armor, all defense by 50%. And then she has decreased physical damage received by 60%, plus some skill damage, bonus damage. And let me just skim through. I'm not going to go through each skill like I've been doing. I'm just going to point out some important stuff here. So on her third skill, she has incapacitation, plus she has immunity for 4 seconds. And let's see here. So on her fourth, the Sun Silence, she has a 20% HP recovery and a 50% increase to all attacks for 7 seconds, which is pretty nice. That's up all the time. And on her fifth, she has 40% penetration with another all attack, all defense buff plus crit rate, which is pretty nice. She looks okay. I don't think she's really going to be a huge game changer. I don't know if she's really going to be meta. Possibly. You know, we'll have to see when we get her. Last but certainly not least, we have Quasar. Yes, I did not butcher it, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, so on her uniform, right out the gate, we have increased chain hit damage by 20%. This is always a good sign for some PvE stuff. Chain hit is absolutely amazing. Okay, now she has decreased damage received by 30%, which is what we're seeing a lot in these patch notes. A lot of decreased damage, right? So I don't know, can we expect this like on every character moving forward? Because every character had this in one way or another. Some more than others. Like Captain Marvel has, what, 90% to villains? It's insane. Okay, now this is very interesting here. So when debuffed, she removes all debuffs for 7 seconds on a 15-second cooldown. So she's basically, actually, you know what? I don't have the time to go and look this up. But when you have max cooldown, does that apply to your buff as well? I want to say that it does, but I don't want to speak out of turn here. So in the comments, if somebody knows if that actually applies to your passives as well, yeah, like I said, I just don't have time to go look that up right now. But okay, so it's either 7 seconds out of 15 seconds or 7 seconds out of 7.5 seconds. But still, either way, it's pretty nice. And then she creates a shield that is 50% of max HP for 5 seconds. Not too shabby. Alright, now power of the Quantum Band. So she has increased guaranteed dodge rate by 30% and then ignores target dodge rate by 40%. Not too bad, guys. Not too bad. Quasar might be looking, she might be nice. Then she has skill damage, bonus damage, 30-30. And let's see, on skill 2, she has remove all active buffs for 3 seconds. And she has a stun. And then on 3, she has paralysis, decrease. Okay, so some... Okay, and then she has 4 seconds of immunity as well on 3. And then on 4, she has 15% HP recovery. And then 50% penetration. And then on her 5th skill, last but certainly not least, she has stun, silence, invincibility for 3 seconds, accumulation based on damage dealt. And that does it for all the characters. Well, actually, we have Blue Marvel's tier 3 skill. So let's see, ignores target defense by 10%, ignore target dodge rate by 100%, invincibility for 6 seconds, and then increased damage 100% for 1 attack. So he's got that on his 4th skill and on his tier 3 skill. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, how this man plays. He might be, you know, he might be able to do the PvP thing very well as the PvE thing. I mean, so a lot of people saying that they that they gave him the you know, Goku's Kamehameha. They just stole it right from the man and gave it to Blue Marvel there. It does. It looks just like it. But it's pretty cool. I mean, you always see the tier 3, right? They just jump up in the air and they just blast something down. It's pretty much the same thing over and over again. All right, moving forward here. So we have their Awaken skill. Now, you see pretty much usually the same stuff on these awakened skills. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but they do have incapacitation on them. I believe that is something that we typically don't really see on an awakened skill, is the incapacitation. But you know, we see new stuff all the time. Like, you know, Yelena's actually has penetration, but yeah, typically you don't see incapacitation. This seems like a PvP kind of awakened skill, just by looking at some of the buffs there. I guess just mostly the incapacitation. But that's pretty much, yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It looks pretty cool, I have to say. It's not my favorite, though. I'll say that much. Not my favorite, but it is cool. Alright, now, they say down here, other information. 2 effects of Black Panther's Tier 3 ultimate skill, King of the Dead, have been changed. So he has 15% ignore defense. So this is before. It basically, they up the time by 5 seconds. So they double the amount of time that it's actually up. And then it says, below are details for the skill effects of Black Panther's 3099 Tier 3 ultimate skill, King of the Dead. The following former skill effects have been deleted. All attack, all defense by 20%, all speed by 20, crit rate by an X number, removes incapacitation. Instead, the number of the skill duration of Black Panther's, blah, blah. As a result, will experience in the ultimate skill have been improved than before. So, and it's the same thing to Captain Marvel's skill. They did not change her Tier 3. They just said that they're buffing it. They're doing something to the they're giving it more hits, and they're just buffing the skill in general. I really wish they would have changed it for both of them. I mean, you know, when you give a character, you know, a rework, you got to change that skill. Like, the skill is just kind of outdated. I'm glad that they did something to it, but I just think they could do more, especially for a character like Black Panther and the situation surrounding him. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it for the patch notes here. There's really not much else to be said about it. And it does say here, Captain Marvel's ally effect in the world boss has been changed from fast movement to leadership. So yes, the first villain to actually be able to use leadership, to be able to like take advantage of White Fox's passive. So like, you could maybe, she might be a really good dispatch character, I'm thinking. And then the name of the Purify effect has been changed from Purify to removes all debuff. Okay, that makes sense. All right, but I'm gonna end it there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the video. Yes, the update, it's on its way, friend. It's on its way. So I guess unless if you want to get Spectrum level 70 as soon as possible, you know, save one run of world boss. There really isn't, there's not anybody else though. I mean, assuming that you've been working on all the other characters, right? Like, I have them all starred here: America Chavez, Quasar, Blue Marvel, and then I think most people actually just have Captain Marvel, right? And then Spectrum's coming, Black Panther as well. So, you know, you had time to prepare for that in that notion. But Spectrum is the only new character that maybe save one world boss, right? If you have the ability to, right? If you're able to play after patch but before reset. Honestly, I wouldn't take the chance, because you remember what happened with one of the last patches, right? 6-year anniversary, I believe it was. Yeah, it was not pretty. It was not pretty. But okay, guys. You know, you better believe I'll be covering this stuff, man. I'm gonna be building these characters. I'm gonna try to get them all squared away now. I went ahead and got Blue Marvel all the way. He's ready to rock and roll, ladies and gents. But I'm excited about Black Panther too. I'm excited about them all. I'm excited about them all, yes. So I'm gonna have that for you. So you better stay tuned. You stay breezy, but most of all, friend, you stay safe out there now. Peace.